After 2 years of planning, a major motion picture was in final stages of preparation at Paramount Studios, Hollywood, California. To be filmed entirely on location in Sweden, Denmark, and Germany, Perlberg Seaton's The Counterfeit Traitor, starring William Holden, Lillie Palmer, and 15 top European stage and screen personalities, posed many problems in air transport. Lufthansa German Airlines was selected to solve these problems, while Lufthansa's representative conferred with producer William Perlberg and writer-director George Seaton on both passenger and air freight requirements. Cargo was being assembled for priority shipment, and picture making always seems to be priority. There was activity in other fake tests for lovely Lillie Palmer, who portrays an allied intelligence agent. Art directors Hal Pereira and Tomby Larson checked hundreds of construction plans for European sets. West Coast terminus of Lufthansa, San Francisco, was the American staging base for the multi-million-dollar production, and tons of vital equipment passed through the Bay City. William Holden was already in Europe, awaiting the arrival of Perlberg, Seaton, and Miss Palmer. They boarded the 707 Boeing jet for the flight to Frankfurt via Montreal and Paris. Crew members followed several days later. Flight time to Frankfurt in comfort and luxury was always less than 14 hours. Cargo time in transit from Hollywood to Frankfurt, busy hub of Lufthansa's Continental operations, was always less than 24 hours. Day after day, the movie cargo descended on Frankfurt for immediate transshipment. Both film production personnel and cargo transferred here to Lufthansa's inter-European service, consisting of Viscounts, Constellations, and Metropolitans. Next stop, Sweden, first locale for filming. Cameras were set up in the colorful Swedish countryside and at Svensk Studios in Stockholm, and exterior filming was alternated with production on the sound stages. The crew, as well as the cast, was international, all expert in a painstaking art. One of the first interiors was a grand hotel room scene between Holden and British actor Hugh Griffith.
Acht femte.
All right, ready, action.
Erickson, I'm not here to debate your case. I'm here to ask you one question. Would you like to get off the blacklist?
Naturally. What do I have to do?
Be a spy.
True life story of Allied spy Eric Erickson, portrayed by Holden, the Counterfeit Traitor, was being filmed where it actually occurred during World War II. The sun was sometimes elusive, and French cinematographer Jean Bourgoin used his blue glass frequently. In 1943, Erickson landed at this spot on the Swedish coast after a dangerous fishing boat trip from Denmark. Completion of the Swedish filming was a series of scenes between Holden and Griffith, who won an Academy Award for his memorable performance in Ben-Hur. Stockholm's Bromma Airport handled the sudden influx of passengers and air freight smoothly, and then it was airborne again. Destination, Denmark. Copenhagen, the city on bicycles, and more than 1,000 were used for the first big shot here in Town Hall Square, called Radhuspladsen by the Danes. In the heart of a large city, picture making is always complicated. Traffic has to be controlled. Assistant directors must set and coordinate background action. It sometimes seems confusing to onlookers, and of course, there are always spectators. Hundreds, sometimes thousands. The day was long and rough, but by sundown, all was normal again in Radhuspladsen. Filming resumed the following day here in Kongens Nytorv, or King's New Square. Behind the cameras is famed Hotel d'Angleterre. This day shooting covered part of Erickson's escape from Germany after his activities were discovered by German counterintelligence officers. The Danish underground eventually assisted him to safety. But there was also drama in another part of Copenhagen. Wardrobe coordinator Frank Salvi discovered that one of Holden's hats, scheduled to work the following day, was missing. This was not too surprising, for it was one of more than 200,000 separate items cataloged for Lufthansa shipment overseas. Plans between Lufthansa and Perlberg Seaton had made provisions for this type of emergency. And this was the first request to Lufthansa for special cargo handling, and it bridged 2 continents and an ocean. Although 8,000 miles away, the studio was as near as a cable blank and a telephone call, and fast, dependable aircraft. While Lufthansa worked out the problem, the company continued filming in Midtown Copenhagen until dusk. A 15-hour day was not unusual for the movie company. Next morning, the location was Copenhagen's quaint old fish market, and the picture makers prepared for the day's work, awaiting one important item, which was, at this moment, arriving at modern New Kastrup Airport. One of Lufthansa's Metropolitans was making the delivery, a very special delivery. The final chapter in the transocean saga of Holden's hat was about to be written.
Hallo, hallo, dette in Perlberg. Lufthansa Route 200 fra Stuttgart, Frankfurt og Hamburg Hauptbahnhof.
100-yard dash by wardrobe man Salvi, and Holden was ready. So was the company.
You're all set, Louis? Jean? Yeah. Both? Okay.
Schlussklappe 27, erste Trailer.
Filming continued for another 3 weeks. Once again, time to pack. Hamburg, Germany, and a stay of 3 months was next on the schedule. Offices were closed down. All of the vast paperwork involved in a major production was assembled and loaded into boxes. The company moved as a self-contained unit. Bustling city on the Elbe, Hamburg is Germany's greatest seaport, and the studios of Real Films, located 20 minutes from the center of Hamburg, was the new home for the Counterfeit Traitor company. Many of Germany's finest pictures are made here at Real. This was an every morning ritual for Lillie Palmer and the other members of the cast and crew. A greeting at the gate, and then the sound stages.
You want to fix the lights? Go ahead and fix them. You know, when I was young, I made a vow to live comfortably and lavishly. I kept that promise. But this stuffy little place means more to me than all the rest. Can you take it more in here? All right, so get up.
And George, this.
Yeah.
An old Junkers 52, one of the first Lufthansa passenger planes, was flown in from Switzerland for scenes in Counterfeit Traitor. The sight of it in the jet-vapored skies over Hamburg was startling, to say the least. Escorted by pretty Lufthansa stewardess Eva Kramer, honeymooners Doug and Mary Bradshaw, who had jetted over from New York, were in for a treat, an unexpected opportunity to see behind the scenes. And having just stepped off a jet, they could also easily see how aviation had grown in 20 years. Filming's in that direction, said the pilot of the Junkers 52, and the old workhorse was soon acting, fulfilling its role of 1941. The Bradshaws and the stewardess lunched with the movie makers and then decided to tour the city. Hamburg offers the tourist a variety of spectacle. The Inner Ulster, Hamburg's beautiful landlocked lake, was first on the agenda. On its shores are some of Hamburg's finest hotels and restaurants. Then St. Michael's Church, with its famed statue of St. Michael slaying the dragon. The best view of Hamburg and the Elbe is offered from the tower of the church, and the sightseers took full advantage. No tour of Hamburg is complete without the busy harbor, and a long trip by boat consumed the rest of the pleasant afternoon. It had been an exciting day for the newlyweds. Meanwhile, the picture company had called a wrap. In Hollywood terminology, finished for the day. Exposed film was extracted from the debris camera, and a messenger was standing by to speed the negative to Hamburg's Flughafen. Lufthansa again provided special service in the expedition of the film from the location to the labs in Paris. Film was rushed through customs and placed on a Viscount. By teletype, Lufthansa offices throughout the system were alerted. Provisions were made for immediate transfer in Dusseldorf. By midnight Paris time, the film was being processed, and Perlberg Seaton saw rushes of the day's work within 48 hours. Filming in Hamburg's huge railway station, the Hauptbahnhof, completed activity in the seaport city. Over 1,000 extras were employed, and Perlberg Seaton chartered 2 World War trains for the week of shooting. Once again, the brute light swung into action. Once again, a gallery of spectators. Away from the cameras, technical work goes on. Makeup always needs freshening. And German star Karl Radatz underwent a quick repair job. Movement of the train was symbolic. The company was on the move again, too. This narrow flight corridor into West Berlin became historic during the airlift of 1948, when Air Force and Navy transport planes roared down in an endless belt, bringing food and coal to the beleaguered city. No strangers here, Perlberg and Seaton filmed the big lift during the height of the gigantic military operation. Tempelhof, with its mile-long terminal building, appears lonely and almost deserted. Due to the tense political situation and under restrictions of the Four-Power Treaty, Lufthansa is not permitted to fly into Berlin, but does maintain cargo and passenger offices and hopes to resume service in the near future. Once again, the familiar blue and yellow truck, a more movie cargo handled with dispatch. This time, headed for the Berlin Hilton, headquarters for the company. First day of work was scheduled for the Kammergericht, former Hall of Justice. Producer Perlberg and Holden departed the hotel for the set. But let Bill Holden tell you about Berlin.
I hadn't been to Berlin in several years. I asked our driver to swing by a few historic spots. Berlin's famous Kurfürstendamm has been restored and is its main street. We could see ruins of the Kaiser Wilhelm Memorial. The new Congress Hall, humorously called the Pregnant Oyster by Berliners, near the Reichstag. The Brandenburg Gate, separating East and West Berlin. Our cast and crew eventually toured East Berlin and came back with a sigh of relief. From this point, we went on to location. A major film company is almost completely self-sufficient on location, taking everything from generators to food wagons and a first aid unit. Perlberg Seaton's caravan encircles the Kammergericht. And inside, our crew members, drawn from 7 nationalities, have been preparing since dawn for the day's filming. Now it was my time to go to work. Next day, second of a month's schedule in Berlin, was tense. The company moved to the Spree River, boundary between East and West Berlin. On the opposite bank was communist territory. Our observers across the river were curious. The East German police boat stopped its patrol for a moment to look us over. Despite the setting of this scene, Lilli was in a gay and playful mood, and we began our acting chores a moment later. The climax of our month of filming in Berlin was a night sequence. Eric Erickson, the true-life counterfeit traitor, flew over from Stockholm to witness the completion of the Berlin scenes. I found this Swedish-American former spy to be a remarkable man. Here we reenacted the quick aftermath of an air raid. Seaton called for action and got it. Filming lasts throughout the night and into the early morning. Finally, we got the last shot.
Picture finished. Job over. Packing, crating, and traveling was ahead for the tired makers of the Counterfeit Traitor. They had filmed in 3 countries, in 4 cities, and in many towns and hamlets. It was now October. They had left Hollywood in May. Collectively, they had traveled over 350,000 Lufthansa air miles during the filming. Lufthansa transported 23 tons of cargo with speed and efficiency. Teamwork is the basis of a top film production company, and Lufthansa German Airlines starred as a member of the team in the making of Perlberg Seaton's The Counterfeit Traitor for Paramount release.